What's happening, squad? Okay, right. So first things first. Welcome to the stream, of course. Today you join us as we build the Rennov8te website for Mr. Brett. Two things: I am unwell, so I may need to keep making breaks. Second, the camera is delayed from what I'm seeing and from what everything's going on. So if something looks a bit odd, it's because I'm about a second behind on the preview. So, today we've prepared the wireframes in paper form because Sketch takes ages. Secondly, got the sitemap, nice simple sitemap for Brett today. Just going to turn that down a little bit. And then, I've got to just, a little disclaimer, any text content that I put in this website may not be true. I've got to get it checked by Brett once it's all done. Biggest thing today is Brett's birthday, so it's like perfect timing. So happy birthday, Brett. Hope you're having a top day. You don't have to sit through the whole stream. It may go on for a few hours, and I'm sure there's beer in the fridge for you. So hope you're having a top day, pal. And yeah, I'm gonna say I need to get the multi-stream up so I can see comments. Welcome everybody. So yes, welcome to Inbox Dan. Thank you, Brett, for your donation to AMMF in return for this project. They're going to be massively appreciative of that. So basically, we are starting the build from scratch as usual, as you can be expected on the old Inbox Dan. So we've got all the content ready, so I think it's best we just dive into the stream. So, without further ado, Brett, welcome to your new website. Wonderful, isn't it? It's wonderfully boring right now, actually. Okay, so what we need to do is turn this website into something that looks like a website. So this is the content from Bretto, and then we've also got various other bits of content in the form of logos, and of course his initial content document, which is here, in part of his application. So his goals for the project are to advertise his kitchen and bathroom fitting service. We have no leaflet or anything to replicate. We're starting completely from scratch. We're looking for homeowners who require a new kitchen or bathroom, any age range really. And he works with a lot of different brands, and yeah, opening hours as you can expect. We've got his logo from a graphic designer, which is wonderful to have. We've got his content in Word format, and yes, we're away to go. So, without further ado, let's turn this very boring looking website into something stunning that's going to help Brett advertise his services. So as usual, Mr. Barron, welcome on board, sir. Thank you very much for watching. Anybody on YouTube, by the way, who's watching this back in past tense, please subscribe and like the videos. It helps the algorithm. And also Facebook, if you want to share this with your friends, like the page. And if you know anybody who's a small business owner who's looking for a website for free, in return for a small donation to our chosen charity, who Mr. Barron, who's on the stream, also knows very much about, yeah, feel free to apply on inboxdan.com and we'll get you into the run-ins. We've got a couple of people to vote for in the next one, so yeah. Anyway, let's get stuck in. So, Brett's website currently looks like this. We need to make it look like this, which is just a doodle. And another doodle on 2 pages there. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, we are using a hand-drawn wireframe this week, because that is the nature of this. And it's only a small site as the requirements for the project, so let's get stuck in. So, first things first, let's start where we always like to start, with the navigation. So let's just take a little quick look at Brett's logos here. We've been provided with these logos from a designer, and we can see that there is quite a clear colour scheme going on. The first thing that I should do is drag that into Photoshop, and let's lift his brand's colours so that we can add them to Elementor. So let's just... first things first though, we need to get the header started so we can... And Danny can type. There we go. So this is just telling Elementor that we're trying to build a website header. So we are using WordPress and Elementor for these builds, as you've discovered. Just the easiest way we can get a site up and running in the short, roughly 2-hour time period that we've got. So let's get cracking. So we want a header, probably go 25% in his logo. I've got an idea in my head that I've written down on this little thing. I want to put, because as you can see by his logo, it's quite a nice rounded corners and a lively colour scheme there. So I'm just going to run ahead and implement this header that I've got an idea for. The first things first, we want to get the colours in. I'm going to go with a white background and I'm going to use his logo to bring colour together. But to do that, I just want to make sure that I've got his colours on the site so that I can use them again later. So let's just get rid of these, just a couple of few from Elementor's default. And then we're just going to add in quickly. Morning, Mr. Davenport. Thank you for joining us. We're just going to be adding these colours to the palette here. I know that's changing the site, but we won't be using them on site. Nice and vibrant there from Brett. Okay, so header colour background is going to be white. We've got those colours in there so we can use them again later on. And I'm just going to go ahead and start building his header. So, I'm just going to crop this logo down because we don't need such a big space. Once we've got that, I'm just going to resave that back out over the top of the original. Photoshop's playing a lot nicer than it was the other week, by the way, guys. Right, oh, okay. Yep, that's in the right place. In fact, I'll just rename that Rennov8te. I'm getting the right one. Okay, so let's get the logo in. So we're going to go with site logo. I'm just going to go ahead and drop in a nav menu. And then in the top right, we're also going to have a button on a little phone number in there. Now everything looks rubbish, so let's go and fix that. Just going to quickly publish this on the entire site. Again, excuse the cough. I've had this for weeks. It's not COVID. I think it's asthma related. Okay, so we've not enabled the default colours in the settings, so I'm just going to go back and switch off Elementor's default colours and fonts. We're going to grab a font in a second. I'll probably use Font Finder to work out what they've used on the branding. I'm not detecting what font that is by looking at it because I'm not that good. Most fonts I can see and think, yeah, that's that, but I'm not seeing it with this one. So to do that, what we'll do, we'll lift this into a website that we can help us to grab the old settings later on. Okay, so we want to go into Elementor settings. We're going to go into theme style because this button does not look anything like his brand, and we've not got his site logo in, which we need to sort out in a minute. First things first, let's make these buttons look like his logo. So we're going to go with a potentially a background color on the logo of, let's go with his nice blue. And then on hover, we'll go to his nice pinky, because there seem to be his two key brand colours, and it fades through that purple that's in the middle of his thing here. And then we're going to bump up the old border radius, because he's got quite a big border radius on his logo, and we want to make it look uniform with the rest of the site. We don't want to do that on hover, we want to do that on normal, so that it shows up on all of them. That's way too much. Tools. Maybe 10 looks good. Okay. We'll sort out the spacing of that in a moment on the other screen. I think though, because we're going to go with a sort of quite a minimal looking website and let his work shine, we are going to use some sort of shadow to make this look a little bit more like it's aged slightly. So we'll go with a very subtle shadow there. Lovely. Looking good. Okay, Brett, nice one, pal. So for any of you not watching on the other platform and can't see comments, people are commenting on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, like last week we had our friend Mick the WP Master. He was on YouTube and thought I was streaming to nobody. But yeah, we do have a bit of an audience on YouTube, so on Facebook, sorry. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're just going to pop into the site customizer settings, and then we're going to set up his site identity. We need his logo, which is the one we've just created. Rennov8te crop. And we're going to just lose the crop from the title and alt text. I'll leave it in caps for now. At a later date, I might want to go in and sort that out. So we've already cropped this a little bit. I'm just going to trim it a little bit further and get rid of that. A little tiny bit more of that white edge. Croppity crop crop. Looking good. Now, we don't want the full logo like that for the site sort of favicon thing. So we're going to go ahead and make a little alternative version. As we know, artboards is rubbish on my computer. So we're just going to go in, and I think we'll go with a 30 pixel radius and see how that looks. Not far off. It's going to be that small anyway, we won't see it. So I'm going to grab that, and we need to find out what font he's using so that we can use it on the site and so that we can replicate it. To do that, I'm just going to clean this up slightly on the other screen. I'm going to grab this black and white version. This font finder tends to work when it's got like nice paths to work with. So we're just going to grab that. I'm going to take a ye old screenshot of just text so that we can use font finder to find out which font he's using. So What the Font is a brilliant tool if none of you have ever heard of it before, and it's a great way of finding fonts. So let's drop this image in. Good old Rennov8te there, looking good. Drop that in and let's see what comes up with. So Gillion Regular, which appears to be the closest one. Doesn't look like a perfect match. Does that ease going out a little bit? They would all be paid fonts. Out of scope for this project, I'm afraid. However, let's have a look if we can find one that's close enough. Neology Grotesque. That does look like it's closest. I'm just looking at the 8, but it's not exactly the same. It could be by Otif Book, by this studio. We may have to reach out to your designer, Brett, to get the web font of this if we've got a license for it. So what we're going to go and do, we're going to go over to Google Fonts, because these are all free, of course. And we're going to find one that's similar. So let's just type Rennov8te. And we can see from this it's a sans serif font, as in it's nice and straight, doesn't have any of those fancy serifs on the edges, so it's shouldn't be too hard to find a close match. We'll get the preview looking a little bit bigger. And then on font properties, we want to go onto categories. We want to switch everything but sans serif off. And we're just going to find one that's quite close. Manrope already is looking not far off. The 8's slightly different, but it might do for body. We're not going to be using number. That's quite close. The E's quite similar. Back and have a look. Yeah, there's a little bit more spaced out. The N's looking close. I think we are going to go with Manrope. That one. Okay. So, we'll just grab that off Google Fonts so that we can use it on our desktop. I'm only going to borrow the R. I mean, I could probably just borrow it from here, to be honest. The size that it's going to be. So, we'll magic wand that. New layer. And make it white. We'll just drop that in. And then we want this to have a gradient on it of his brand colours, which are this one, and the centre seems to have filled itself in due to the transition, but I'm going to just force that. Okay, and then we'll match his gradient, which is slightly off centre like that. Looks good. Okay, that'll do for his site icon. So we're just going to crop this out using the artboard tool that we know is buggy as hell on my Photoshop for some reason. Oh, okay. I'll tell you what, we'll do it there. Not so. Friendly way. Crop it in WordPress itself. Okay, let's export this artboards to files. I know it's going to spit out loads of stuff, so we'll just use a selected artboard and feed. I'm going to drop it onto the desktop. Rennov8te. And then we'll go with the PNG. This one. Bit of transparency in the background. Good. Right, back to the site. Let's add the site icon. We've just cropped him. Looking good. Like that.
It's going to want a perfect square. Just to get managed. And there we go. That's this little thing here, so that if you ever save it onto your phone, it'll show it with that. So, Rennov8te is the company name. What are we saying, Brett? What's the... Have a look. Bit of tagline. I think what we'll do, we'll just rock and roll with kitchens and bathrooms. Renovation, actually, with kitchen and bathroom renovation. Lovely. Right. Oh, from dreams to reality. We do have a tagline. I knew I'd seen it somewhere. This won't be used once we've got Yoast SEO in. It's nice to have it if we ever use the default for whatever reason. Okie doke. Looking good. So let's drop back out of this and back into Elementor's template editor, which is under here. I'm going to go into all templates, grab the Rennov8 header, edit that with Elementor, and now let's start tidying this up so it looks nice. One thing that we've not done, I've just noticed, is the nav menu. So just quickly before we do that, we will pop into pages, set up the pages that we're going to be using. So this sample page we'll use to replace for our home page. Update that, and then we'll add another page for kitchens and bathrooms. And then we'll add another one, bathrooms. Looking good. Okay, so now to build the nav, we need to make sure that we've got a menu set up and we've got those pages added to it. Photoshop, so we're not looking there. Don't need. So we'll remove this. We'll add. If we did template pages. What you want to make sure is that your pages are published. Right, so we're just going to pop into these two and make sure that they've got hit publish on there. Same for kitchen. That one's published. Kitchen's published. Okay. Get bathrooms. So let's just drop back to pages. Edit bathrooms. Hit publish on there. Justin is saying look at the T. Yes, let's check that font out. Ah. Unroll. The T is different. Is it? Yes, slightly. I think it'll do us just for now until we can get, if we've got the web font. Yeah, we're going to use Mamrope for the headers and stuff, but we'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so let's go into the menus, add kitchens and bathrooms. Been added by default. We'll remove that second instance of the home page. Home, kitchens, bathrooms. We'll title this main menu. Okie dokie. And then what we'll do, go to the site again, and we should see those changes we've made. And we've got a menu to preview with here now, so we can work on that. So first things first, let's go and sort that font out because it looks a little bit too thick and nothing like is branding. So we're going theme style, typography, and we're going to go with H1s to 3s. We will use Manrope. Manrope doesn't appear to be installed on Elementor, which is very strange because it uses Google font. An interesting issue we've got now. Okay, let's try and find another font that matches. So, Roboto
is the default font that Elementor uses. I think Lato's quite nice, but it's a bit tapered at the ends. Montserrat, that's a good old favourite. So yeah, we'll go with Montserrat for now. The A is in here. Oh, we don't have an A. E's similar. E's not far off. It's a bit more spaced out. It'll do for a starter for 10. Okay, so let's make all the headers Montserrat. But now I think we'll also use Montserrat for the body. We're trying to keep this quite a minimalist looking site so that his work can stand out. I don't think we'll be going lower than a H4 for now, so I think we'll leave it at that. Okay, so we want to use a bit of a heavier weight on the H1. Probably not that heavy, because it's thicker than his actual logo. That's probably about right. And then H2 will also use quite a heavy weight. Double N in Rennov8te. Yeah, that's me being crap at spelling, just. Nice one. Okay. And I'm also just going to go back to default fonts and set everything to, because for some reason various things don't seem to work very well on my installations of Elementor. So let's just make sure everything's set to Montserrat. Okay, looking good. Now we've got Montserrat pretty much everywhere on site. Right, back to building this header. So it's very like spacey at the minute. We need to make sure it's all nicely aligned and things fit a little bit better. So we want I want to get the logo quite big, because obviously this subtext is will get lost if we don't. I'm gonna add a little bit of padding to the top and bottom. We've got a bit of nice bit of breathing space. We know I like a bit of breathing space. Probably something to do with asthma. So vertical align, we want everything to be centered, that it's nice and stable. Then I'm gonna make this a call link. And people who are not on mobile, I'm gonna put his phone number on there, which I do have in yonder document. Let's try and make it a little bit more friendly to the user. 07 1. I'm going to put that in there, and then we want to put a tel link here, and put number behind that tel link. If you've tapped on mobile, we'll call Brett straight through. And then I think just for user funness, we'll put a phone. Bit more spacing. I think what we'll do on mobile is lose everything apart from the icon, which I believe I'm going to have to do with second button, which I don't particularly agree with, but as far as I know, that's the only way of doing it on Elementor. Okay, so that was accidentally quite like that, but let's try right aligning those. Looking good. And I think we're going to go with just good old black for his text color on his nav. Go with a nice tidy grey, so that it's not too dark. Gives it that extra little bit of subtlety, if you like. Yes, I know. Everybody in the comments on Facebook saying it's 2 N's or 1 in Rennov8te. Yes, it's 1. I think. Thankfully, that's just never going to be seen anywhere on public. Yeah, it is 1 N. So it's me being crap at spelling. Thanks for pointing that out, guys. I'll sort it out in a bit. Okay, so let's get this nav on hover, making
getting that in line with the branding. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to use this rounded corner situation. I might pad his buttons out slightly so that they're a bit taller than they are wide to match that what's going on with his brand. If I just pop into theme style really quick so that it does it site wide and all his buttons look uniform. I'm going to go into this and we're just going to have a fiddle with the padding, so it's not enough. Probably too much. We'll try 15 pixels. Looking good. Looks a little bit better. I like that. I think we may even go as far as to put the background on this in a bit, like the gradient that he's got. Because I quite like that gradient. But it's very on brand so far, until we can get that actual font. So let's sort this navigation out. So on hover, we want it to be a... We don't want the pointer to be underlined. We want it to be a nice background. So like so. And I think style-wise, we will... on the nav links, we'll make them rounded corners. So we'll go with that 15 pixel border radius. When we hover, it matches the rest of the site. And on the hover, pointer colour we'll use is nice pink, so that it's sticking with the brand. Looking good. And I think we may just put a little bit of space between those. Cool. Take that. Now, let's take a look on tablet. Right, we don't want that to collapse on tablet because we'll get away with a full menu on this one. So, let us put the breakpoint to mobile. I may just play with the spacing on. Make that one wider. We may actually drop to the old menu because once we make that wider, it's going to take up space, obviously. So let's have a play with that. Try 30% column width on there. 40. Need to get my calc. I'm rubbish at math. Hard. What's this one? Try that at 20. 50. I am that bad at maths that I can't work out when I advert. There we go. Okay, so that's on tablet. I think it's probably going to be a bit close because we are going to have a contact page as well. I might just drop in. Morning, Mr. Clayton. Morning, Greg. Thanks for joining us once again on the stream, sir. So let's align that menu to the right. And again, let's just get that toggle button looking on brand. We want the colour. I think we'll go with this white, and then we'll go with a background colour of pink. Maybe too much, but we can play with that later. We'll make it bigger so that it matches his buttons. We'll make the border radius 15. Look a bit too much on that small menu. What we want to do, we can see that there is something strange going on with the icon, not quite matching the column next to it. So, what we'll go ahead, I think here. I think we've got enough control over that CSS, so I think we'll put a little tiny bit of padding on the top. Clear that up. Go. And let's check it out on mobile. Wowzers. Okay, I want that to be column width of probably 20%, not 30, 40% mobile maybe. Need to fit these two in as well, so if we go 40, got 30 each to play with. These two. Again, we need to get this button sorted out because we cannot have that internal text there displaying like that. Just going to inspect it and see if we can if we can't grab something that's wrapping that and do it in CSS instead of having to hide the button and have two buttons. So what have we got? Got an icon that we can. Yes, we can use button text. So Elementor button text. We're gonna place a none on that. Just on this selector. So custom CSS. We of course need to grab a bit of code. Do a media query. I can never remember. Been a while since I've written CSS. So, okay, you want to grab a media query for mobile width, which I do not know what it is currently. So let's check that on. It did tell me on one of these buttons. Is it the nav on this? Tells me what breakpoint it's using. Content, so anything less than 768 pixels, we're gonna do a bit of pokery on the CSS for this. So advanced custom CSS 76 max width. Okay, 768. Or should it be 760? Less than 768. Oh, I don't know. Can't look at it. It's hard to do this on live stream. So it's going to be Elementor button text. And we're just going to display that. Leaves us with just the mobile phone button there. What I want to make sure though is that it's not doing that on everything. So I'm just going to make sure that that doesn't happen. I'm going to give this main menu class of main-nav. Not entirely sure where or when Elementor will render that. I'm going to make sure that I'm only selecting that. So if I go main-nav there, connect us from that. And I want to right align that column because it seems as if it needs to be so wide. Probably get away with 20%. Both of those. Not sure how that's going to react with this drop down menu. Right, I'm going to have to play with that menu. Okay, so how are we going to fix that? We want the drop down menu. The thing is with Elementor, what I'd normally do is make that drop down so that it was absolutely positioned, but I don't think I can do that on Elementor. We shall try. Because we just want the drop down to be fixed position, then the rest of it can. Oh. Grab Elementor nav menu, drop down. And we're going to go into the old custom CSS on this. I'm going to put position fixed. I'm going to go left. Oh. Width. Going to be 100%. Top. The no 80 pixels, probably too much. But what we're going to do is fix this top menu so that it sticks to the top of every page. So update that. See how it looks. And every other breakpoint, make sure nothing's broken it. Looks good. Desktop. Yeah, there we go. Right, so what I need to do is make the nav sticky so that I've not just totally ruined the menu. Which there is a setting somewhere. Sticky top.
Wonderful. Now that just covers us for the fact that menu will not move basically on any other breakpoint. Okay, so that padding that we put on there, we're probably going to lose that. Now pushing the button down too much. Well, should be 40. Good. Okay. Now we've got a drop shadow on this button and not that one. It looks odd. Let's fix that. Toggle button. Need to give us the option. Do it manually again. So let's inspect that button and see what class it's got. Also got a sneaking suspicion of radius on both of those. So what is it? It is Elementor dash menu dash toggle. Crashed on me again. Good old Chrome taking up loads of memory. So we want to put a box shadow of not much movement. Then probably what was give it 10%. Really subtle box shadow on it. I'm just going to inspect that. See what border radius we put on there. I have totally forgotten. I have it on this one. That's why it looks odd. Okay, looking good. So that's looking like it's half working. And then just double checking on every breakpoint that everything looks right. Okay, we want to again make that right aligned. And just notice we've not got our full button text that came back, so obviously something is not happening right with this CSS. So max width should have got rid of. Perhaps it'll work in the browser. Just double check. So what we should see here is the full number, yep, which is what I predicted. And when we get to the mobile view, it does look a little bit strange with that. Okay. I shall fix that after the stream. Let's go on this. We don't need that much width on it. That should be displaying full, and then that was it. Awful lot of space there. Right, oh my god. Gonna have to play with that afterwards. Okay, so there's the header. That'll do for now.
we will come back to that and revisit it to make it look a lot more pretty on mobile. But I don't want to spend the whole stream fiddling with a header. Okay, right, so let's exit this one. We've got that sorted now. We've got the menu in. We know what font we're using. Got a main site preview. Okay, so now let's get the footer. It's at the bottom of every other page. We want a nice clean footer for Rennov8te. Rennov8te. Don't want to choose any of the existing blocks. We're going to make our own. So we'll go with a 2-column layout, which is what I've got on my. See the webcam still working? Yep. I've gone with a little 2-column layout footer. If you can see that, just about. There you go. So that's what we're going to build on this one. And our usual padding situation, we'll give it a good old 40 pixels top and bottom. Danny's favourite 40px padding. And then I don't want to go too dark on Brett's footer because his brand is really light. So if I just do very subtle shade of grey there, just separate it from the rest of the site, that'll do us nicely. And then of course, right at the very bottom, we'll go with another footer. We'll give that nice 5 pixels padding. Background with a slightly darker above. And we'll just publish this on every page. We can save it. And then drop in the text editor. And I'm going to put in a little bit of a credit here. Grab the current year. I'm going to pretend and append that with copyright. HTML code for copy. I'm going to go with Rennov8te. Building. Double checking this company name. Is it limited? Do we have a company or legal entity for Rennov8te? Not mentioned. We'll just stick with Rennov8te. And we're going to go ahead, duplicate that to the other side. Just going to pop a Giorgio a little credit in there, so people know who we are when they come looking at this site thinking, hey up, that's nice. Hopefully. So and then we're going to go into styling, pick that right hand side. We will put a link behind good old inbox Dan. Save that out. Jobs are good in, but we don't want the fonts to be this colour. So what we're going to do, custom CSS, we're going to choose the selector of the parent element. We're going to go with, almost did it in less than. Web developers will be looking at this thing. What are you doing? Selector A, so it's going to be colour of, I think we'll go 60s. That's just selecting the navigation there, at the links in the footer in this particular section. I'm going to go, so when we hover, it clearly looks different in the rest of the text. And we're also just going to go with selector for paragraph. I'm going to make the margin 0. You'll notice I spell margin marring every single time.
and then we'll make sure that looks like it's doing it there as well. Cool. Okay, now next up, we're just going to make sure that they are left and right there, left and right there, and then on mobile we want them centered. We're just going to grab that column, text align the whole jobby wherever she's gone. Text align the whole lot, centered. Oh, and it's not doing it. It does this every time. Center that. Make sure it's left, right. Oh. Jump. Oh. Looking good. That's the credits done. Okay, the main footer. What do we want? In here, we're going to put a sitemap, which will be a nice bit of navigation in the footer. So we'll drop a heading in, sitemap, fix the fact that it's blue in a second. Then we'll drop a good old nav menu in. And on this one, we want to display it vertically. Probably go with a background of a hover. Don't want this to break on anything, so it'll always be a list like this. And on the style, pointer color, we're going to just go with a little grey text. And what we want to do on this section, pop in, work on the old typography here. Heading color, we're going to go with probably a grey around about here. Links, we want them to be quite dark, and then link hover, slightly lighter, and the main body text somewhere between them. So you can see links definitely when they're in there. I'm trying to keep the footer quite plain because I want, again, this site, I want his work to stand out because there's some really nice work with kitchens and bathrooms. And then next up, we're just going to put a little contact heading. And we'll use a link list or an icon list, whatever it's called. The footer there. We want them to be in line, and we'll just get rid of those. Go with tell. Phone number is there. I'm going to choose a phone icon. Play. Put a tell link in. People can ring him by tapping that. Then we're going to go and duplicate that, and we're going to do the same for his mobile, his email address, which is currently a Gmail. We may look at that correct later on. I can copy this without selecting it. We don't need to all do we? On because it's got a picture. And then we'll go on email. We'll just write his email address. I'm going to put a mail to link behind that so that when you click it, it sends you a mail message. I'm going to use an envelope. Wonderful. And then finally, we don't have a Facebook page for him just yet. But we will make one. Square icon there. And we'll just link that to .com. Time being. So, we're going to make the icons a little bit bigger. We're going to put the space between them a little bit bigger. And we're going to change the colour of that icon. Something a little bit more in line with what we've got going on in this footer.
probably just increase that space 15 to 14. Nice. Looking good. I think that'll do us for this contact. And then on the right hand side, I had this idea of making it incredibly easy for people to get in touch with him by just providing a name and phone number for him to call back. Always a nice little hack for that to try and get a little bit of easier conversion, because some people may not feel comfortable phoning you straight through, but might be alright with just, yeah, I'll just provide him my phone number. So, if you'd like us to call about your project, simply provide your name and telephone number. One of call. We say one of the team? Yeah, one of the team will call as soon as possible. Again, Brett, don't worry. You will be approving all this copy, and you'll be able to put your own spin on it. I'm just getting stuff in there, so we've got a starting point. And then we'll drop a form in there. Elementor players game. And then we'll take away that message field, and I'm just going to drop in another option box. Select best time to call. The options: anytime, which will be default, morning, afternoon, looking good. So we don't want to take email, we want to take a phone number, which is a tel. That's required. The name is required. Go. You can see that there. What we need to do now is, I think I'm just going to go in and put a bit more of a bit of spacing on that form. So, just seen a message off somebody, I believe Faz from Bolton. Can't reply just now, Faz, if you're watching this. So theme style, we're just going to go in and do something flash with his input boxes, so they don't look quite as like plain. Do something a bit more bespoke for him. When Elementor loads, it has been a bit of a funny one today. So form fields, we've been using that nice 10 pixel border radius and everything else, so to make it fit in, we'll do that. And I think what we'll do with the border is get rid of it completely and put that little subtle box shadow that we've been using elsewhere. I'm going to pad them more because I like a little bit more space in my input boxes. Makes it feel, for some reason, nicer to type in when it's got a bit more space between top and bottom. Have a little look there, that's looking alright. And then what we want to do, get into the labels, typography. We want to put a bit of space between the labels and the form elements. Probably 2.2 M's will do us nicely. And then again, I'm just going to put some custom CSS in there for forms. And I'm going to go Elementor button. I'm going to give that a margin. Again, spelled margin wrong. Margin top of 20 pixels. Probably too far. Let's go 15. Just to make that spacing a little bit more uniform between the lot. Okay, looking good. So form fields look alright. I want to get rid of the border on them though. Potentially site-wide, because I don't envisage that any of the buttons, the borders, speak Daniel, any of the forms are going to have a white background. I envisage using this gradient. I've just got it in my head that that's how they're going to look. So what I'll do is get rid of the border completely, if I can work it out where it is. Where's border? Border type is already set to none, so why is there a border showing? Right, let's set it
Let's force it to be that. Okay. And then we're going to put a box shadow on it instead of using a border. Essentially not that much of a box shadow. Maybe offset vertically slightly, not by 30 pixels. Probably by 2. There we go. That's looking a little bit, if you know what I mean. And then what I want to do when they are in focus, I want to do something a little bit tasty on Brett's. Should we, or should we do? Yeah, let's go with. I think I'm gonna have to do this in CSS because it doesn't seem like we've got the option to do it. Okay. We need to add 2 box shadows, you see, and I can't do that in CSS. Just a quick heads up, if you hear a lot of banging shortly, the window cleaner has arrived. So just bear with me on this. Right, so let's grab the CSS code of this. Find it where we're selecting. I imagine it'll be Elementor-input, but we've got to make sure because otherwise it won't work. We are running very slowly today on this computer for some reason. So what we're doing, Elementor-field is the input, so let's grab that. So, form, Elementor-field. We'll just close that off. Now, and it's on focus that we want to do this. Not foxus, focus. And then we're going to put a box shadow on to match what we've already got because we don't want to lose the one that we've got, which is 0 pixels left, 2 pixels wide, 10 pixels that blur, and it's very subtle. Is it 0.2? And like this, form field, because I don't want it to lose that. Come on, Lord Elementor, today would be nice. Form fields, come on, form fields. There we go. So we're giving a 10 pixels everywhere. What was the box shadow that we chose? 2 pixels, 6 pixel blur, that's why it looks odd. And it was 0.5, oh, it's quite a thick one then. A dark one. So 0.5. But it was only 6 pixels. Helps if you put the actual colour code in proper, Dan. So why is it not moving that down? Okay, what we want to do now is grab his colour codes again. Just go inspect that. Grab his pink. And then we're going to put a second box shadow. Type it out again though. And I'm going to put a 0 pixels by 0 pixels by... I want to do an internal one, so let's just Google how we do an internal box shadow because I've forgotten. And yeah, any good web developer will Google things. Okay, we just write inset. Cool, no problem. So the first parameter wants to be inset. And then we want to go, again, ignore the banging, it's the window cleaner. We're going to go with 5 pixels on this, and we're going to use Brett's colour code. The pink, that should put absolutely nothing on the box shadow. Let's see what it does with this. Hang on, let's just get rid of that one. It might keep the... What have I done wrong? I can't see it. I can't tell. Pressure. I'm trying to get a nice pink border on your box shadows. Oh, it's not working. Right, okay. Stop being flashed, Danny. We'll sort that later. It's still looking very odd there. Okay, never mind. Right. We've tweaked his form fields. I'll do something flash with that off camera later. What do they say? Never work with animals and children, or do tech live because things go wrong. Okay, where are we up to? Let's get rid of that. We don't want that anymore. Okay, that footer is looking like a real website now. We'll have a contact page in this, so it'll have an extra bit of space in there. I'm just going to do our good old favourite thing and make sure that we've got enough spacing on the columns there because it looks like it's a little bit close. So, an Elementor loads. I'm going to quit Chrome in a second and start again with a new session because it's feeling a little bit sluggish today. There we go. Plenty of space in between those now. Right. Now the fun part. We are an hour in. Let me just jump on and say hello. Okay. If this is still running. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Right, guys. Thanks for sticking about. We're still working. We've got an hour left. Right. So far, we have built the header and footer of Mr. Brett Ashworth's Rennov8te from Dreams to Reality website. It's looking good. It's looking nice and clean, nice and simple. We've got the homepage. We've got the bathrooms and kitchens to build. And we've got shed loads of images of his work, which is going to be fun to get into this site. So yeah, hopefully he's still with us. We're having some technical difficulties just now with the with his hover on his form fields, but we'll sort it afterwards. We can't do everything live. Right, okay, back into the site, guys. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so that's the site so far. Very bland. Nothing going on. Nothing. No content. No pictures of kitchens or anything that you'd expect to see on a website for a dude that builds kitchens for a living. So let's fix that problem. I think I'm going to start with the homepage first because, as per my what's it, is the first thing I've got in my little wireframe book noted. So what have we got? So we've got a header with a hero on there and then some nice images to slide through. Now on the homepage. So if I go home, edit that with Elementor. Window cleaner is going to come. Close that window. Hold on a minute. Back onto the screen. Window cleaner is going to think I'm bananas. Shout out to Sean, the window cleaner. Right, homepage. We need to change WordPress to be using the actual. I'm just going to quit Chrome because, as we can tell, Elementor is being an absolute nightmare at the minute. Which I suspect is because Chrome has completely filled the cache. Taking as much RAM as it can. And then we'll just get back onto the other desktop. Okay, right. Try again. So. Hopefully it's not kicked us out. The angry mistress that WordPress is. Throwing us out of websites. And it has kicked us out. Okay, let's log in. Right, still not much better. I think we might have to switch streaming machines to the other Mac. Let's free up some RAM. What do we not need? We don't need Photoshop right now. We don't want to save that. We've got it saved. We don't need Sublime Text. We need Streamlabs because that's what you're watching on. We don't need TeamViewer. Okay, right. So settings, reading. And we're going to set the home page to a static page, and we're not going to bother with the post page because I don't believe Brett wants to blog for now. But we can add one at a later date. Okay, this is the home page. Looks rubbish. Let's edit that with Elementor. So first we need to edit it in normal WordPress. And then we're going to go ahead, delete all this content, and edit in Elementor. And whilst that's loading, let us browse Brett's lovely pictures of kitchens that he's been doing. Looking good. Are there bathrooms? Wow, look at that bath. That's a big old bath. Or is it just close? Either way, it's nice. So we've got lots of pictures to play with. Some bathrooms there. I think we'll just make a little slider with some of these in. Probably do need to crop some of these. Right, okay, so settings. Hide the title of the page. And then we want to do our own structure. And we're going to go with a full single thing for the hero. And then I think... Oh, do we? Do we want to do a background slider? I think we do. I think we shall. Okay, let's get back Photoshop open. Again, apologies for the sounds you can hear. The window cleaner has arrived. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make some nice wide shots, I think. But most of his pictures are vertical, so that might not work too well. Let's see. Let's see how it looks. So, we'll create a new file. We shouldn't need more than 1800 pixels wide. We'll put a height 700 and we'll use artboards, even though Photoshop, as we know, is buggy as hell on my computer. As you can see, it's just forgotten everything we pressed. Okay, now let's take a look at some of these pictures that he sent us and which ones can we use for the header. So let's start with that kitchen. It was a really nice kitchen at the bottom, actually. That. Ow. Now, Brett, you are going to have to send me these pictures in full resolution because they're a little bit pixelated, which is what is going to look really odd on here. I'm aware of that, but we have no other content, so let's just run with these for now. So, I usually prepare images before we get into this, but we haven't done today. So, kitchen 2. Grab other... Same kitchen. Yeah, we'll use that one. That's a nice picture. So a top tip, guys, if you're ever taking pictures of your own work, going to want to take them in landscape and make sure that you can fit as much interest in the on, because it gives us more freedom on the web to do fancy things with them if we've got more of a landscape view to them. Just bear that in mind. Watch that. So we'll just swap that one out. These look like they've been lifted straight from Facebook, so they have been compressed, which isn't ideal. We could do with getting that sorted out, Brett, one day. Brett, you like the black background. Which one? We don't have a black background anywhere. Okay. Next up, let's do 2 bathrooms. You can see my artboard tool doesn't work very well. Let's get 2 nice pictures of bathrooms. There's Brett hard at work. A little bit blurred, that one though. That's a nice kitchen. That's a nice bathroom. There's speakers in the ceiling. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look for some bathrooms. Plenty content for the kitchens page. Whilst that is a nice tiling job, it's not showing the full bathroom, so let's try and find one that is. Might end up... For now, we've got something.
I was trying to art direct everything so the interest was on the right hand side, which I may flip that picture for that reason, so that the interesting stuff is going on the right hand side, so we can put something over the top here, like a nice little overlay. And then this one, we will grab one more bathroom. We've got another one. We are a little shy on content on this one. That's a nice little shot. Colour correction could do with tweaking on it. There we go. That's a nice shot of a bathroom. And we'll drop that one in. We'll try and not get outside of that house. So the interest again is on the sort of centre right, even though it is a bog. But what do you expect when we're fitting bathrooms? Bathrooms 2 on that one, and then bathrooms on this one. Right, so we've got some pictures there for the home header. We're going to go File, and we're going to export those files, Artboss to files. I'm going to go Rennov8te underscore in JPEG, and we'll just drop those on the desktop. So we've got something to use. So the plan here is to make a little section here with a motion background on it. I'm going to delete that actually because I want to get the look I'm going to have to do. I want to have to make 2 columns. So what we want to do, style, and then we're going to go with slideshow as the background type, and then we're going to select those images. Create. So drop those in. Again, we should be going through and sorting out SEO titles on this, but we will do that at a later date. I've never used an Elementor gallery as a background, so let's have a look at how this looks. Now, what I wanted for this site is to have it within a full container, instead of it being as it is now, where it's going to the full width of the viewport. So what I'm going to do, from last week's project, borrow a little bit of code. And to do that, I need to make a child theme, so just bear with us. So the child theme basically means that we can add custom things to the WordPress loop, and to do that, the quickest way is there's a plugin called Child Theme Configurator. We're just going to grab that, drop it in. And once we've got this in, it'll allow us to create a child theme from Hello Elementor, which then means we can add custom things to the loop. So basically, in WordPress, it's good practice not to make changes to the main theme, so that when upgrades are done to the main theme, we can upgrade the main theme without breaking the template and the website, basically. So we've created the new child theme here, and then we can see it'll be called Hello Elementor Child. We'll activate that and it'll look exactly the same on the front end, but we're just going to go into the back end here under theme editor, and I'm going to borrow some code from Snug, if I can remember the login, which I cannot. There we go. Okay, so we did this on the Snug last week. If you watched last week's build, I did this off-site afterwards. But basically, we can hook into the WordPress Elementor before and after header function, and then what that allows us to do is wrap in a bit of extra code, which renders out a wrapper for the entire site, which we can then, so we can see here we've got this site container that will wrap the entire website, which is what we can use to limit the width of the pages. So if if I now go and visit this website, it will look exactly as it did before. It isn't loading the... Oh, it's because we've changed the... We just need to pop into theme settings again in the customizer and get that header back in because it seems to have lost that setting. So I'll just quickly drop in lost logo. Well, the whole reason behind this is because I don't want Brett's pictures to be stretched so wide that you can't see what's going on, and they're already grainy because they're not in full resolution. So what we're going to do, we're going to wrap the whole thing, whole site in a container so that it sits within the viewport. So if we visit the site, edit that page again, and we can see that the whole page is going to the edge of the viewport, which is what we don't want happening. So this is what we're trying to fix. We don't want it going right to the edge. So what we've done, we've wrapped the entire site in something called site-container, which is a big class that we can just do stuff with now. So if I go on theme style, this CSS is rendered on every page. If I go custom CSS and I just grab that site.container, and then we set the width to be 100%, but the max width to be, I don't know, let's say 1400 pixels. Can you see how now the site has been cropped to this not as wide as it was situation? So if I go 1400 pixels on that and then go margin auto, marring again, I cannot spell margin. Margin, no pixels at the top, and then auto left and right. You can see now that that page is not as wide as it was. Something funky going on with the header there. I'm hoping that is corrected shortly. So let's go 1400 pixels wide, and then so we can see the edge of that, I'm going to put a box shadow on the entire thing. I think we'll go 10 pixels, but we'll make it really, really faint. Okay, good. Might even go a little bit darker then. Nice. So, hopefully when we load this page properly. There we go. Right, so can you see now how we've got this nice container around the entire site? It just means that whatever we do with these pictures, if someone looks at it on a massive screen, it's not going to look completely ridiculous. It's going to have a nice cut off there, and we can see that it's got oops. We can see that it's got a nice maximum width that it can go to that's not huge. So let's pad this so that we can see those lovely pictures we've put in. Then I'm going to go ahead and I think we'll use try it with without doing any background colouring on them. So, and I've done Rennov8, and then we're gonna go kitchens through. Make that a H1. Set it to, not sure, I don't know whether to create a rounded corner box here or to just trust that we're going to use dark images. I think I'm going to have to do something because we're already losing that in the header there. So what I'm going to do, style on this, I'm going to put a background on this column, color background. Probably around about there, I imagine. Be a little bit darker. And we're going to give it some severe padding because we don't want it to be hugging the edge of the viewport like that. So we'll go 50 pixels all around. quite liked having a bit of extra padding up there actually. Let's go 70. Pushes it to the bottom of that. And then what we want to do, again, we've got, because we're using a border radius and everything on this site, we will replicate that again here. Keep in line with the brand that we've been developing as we've been working through this. So, don't have much content for this, so we're just going to drop in some lorem now. And then I'm going to put a little read more button here. In fact, I'm going to put 2 buttons on Brett's website. I'm going to put a kitchens and a bathrooms link, which are going to go further down the page. So we'll call this one kitchens. Can't type today, there's something wrong with it. So there's kitchens, and then we're going to go is there an icon for kitchens? That's the question. We're going to go kitchens, and we're going to go responsive, and we're going to put positioning, sorry, we're going to have this as inline, and then we're going to duplicate that, and then we're going to put bathrooms in. Then on both of these buttons, we're going to go into the advanced styling tab. We're going to put 10 pixel right and probably 10 pixel bottom margin on them. Oops. Looking good. So what will happen now, I'm probably just going to pad this a little bit more on the top actually. Good, question mark. Good. So, we're going to put a couple of paragraphs in here underneath. One of them about kitchens, one of them about I'm just looking at my notes here. One of them about kitchens, one of them about bathrooms. I'm going to put 2 vertical pictures next to them so they look nice and segmented off. And then, looking at my notes here, we've got nice hero at the top, which we've just put in. We've got a kitchen section with a picture to the right, and then we've got a bathroom section with a picture to the left, with a call to action to the full page about kitchens and bathrooms. We've got a bit of an about section at the bottom just to tell you some of Brett's expertise and a bit of information about him. And then we've got a slot to put a testimonial slider in, which we currently don't have the content for, but we'll drop it in anyway for Brett to provide that later, which will then give us a nice little landing page, which helps you get to the other parts of the site. So, let's just jump back in and get that built. So, I'm going to go 2 column here. Again, giving us some nice generous padding. I'm probably going to go more padding on this section because I've got plans to do probably even more than that. I want to do some nice floaty work with the pictures and pull them over previous section. So again, same on this column. Just going to put a different background on this column. Don't want to go too dark, but needs to be differentiated from the previous section. So there we go. Let's go into advanced. Add in, we'll give it 60 all round top and bottom. I think actually the top one will need to be 80. You'll see why I'm doing that shortly. So what we want to do, we're going to need 2 more pictures, one for a bathroom and one for a kitchen. Thankfully we want them vertically on this. Do we? I think probably relatively square will do us. Let's just take a little look at how this looks. That'll probably be a good orientation for these pictures. So, I'm going to try and not use the same pictures, but we may be limited. That's a slightly different picture of the same bathroom, so that'll do us. But again, I want to art direct everything so that the focus is on the right hand side. No, in fact, I'll go left hand side on it. By art direct, what I mean is I want to make sure that the most interesting part of the picture is in a certain area. That when I do something flash with CSS in a bit, it'll still display properly. And then there was another nice kitchen, wasn't there? Routing's not been done. That's the one. That was. So again, you can see that the focus of this image is in bottom left and this one is in middle right, which is probably more appropriate. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually flip this picture. So that this bit will be in focus later on. So bathroom, we're going to put this as kitchen. We're just going to export those artboards to files. Just slap them on the old desky toppy. And we want to export all of those, not just the ones selected. Okay, we've got those on the desktop now. So what I'm going to do, drop in nice image. Yeah. Drop in that picture of, I think we will do kitchens first. And then on this one, we're going to do a picture. I'm going to go ahead, drop in bathroom. Nice. So what I want to do is display the full image on both counts. And I'm going to have to do some heavy selection on CSS to try and get this to work, because it's wrapped in about 4 or 5 different containers, which we don't want. So what I'm going to do, what I want to do is I want to make this column higher than it is. So let me put some content in this left-hand side so that we can see. So that's kitchens, fitted, kitchen. Put some underneath there. We'll sort the headers tight, colours out and stuff in a minute. Fitted kitchens from Rennov8te. And I'm going to put in just a little bit of dummy text for now. Button will go to the kitchens page. The kitchen fitting, and that goes to the kitchens page. And then I'm going to clone all of those things. Drop them in the lower section. Do the same for bathroom. Just popping those in. Another text section. I want to set that column again. Give everything a bit of breathing space. Give it a wide column gap. Good stuff. Right, so what we don't want, excuse me, is this image to be displayed like this. I want to make it so that it's bigger and drops down slightly. It needs to look like this on mobile, but we don't want that on every other breakpoint. So I'm going to remove the padding on that section. Same on this right hand side. We probably do with more content here, so I'm just going to use another couple of passages of lorem. No, it's not perfect practice just for yet, but we do need to get more content. And I might just add the right of that column because it's way too close to that other image. If I put 30 pixels, oh, not 300. If I put 50 pixels on the right hand side just for that bit, we'll get rid of that on mobile. Again. 50 pixels on the right. Nice and slim in that section then. So what we want to do is make this 100% height of the box, but as we discovered last week when we tried doing it on the Snug, there's lots of overriding that we need to do. So I'm going to go and grab the code that I used on the Snug last week. So this bit, what I'm trying to replicate, this is a 100% height image, but instead of using a background image so that we can, you know, get the actual images on the page. So I'm just going to pop in here and borrow the code that I used on that because there is absolutely no point rewriting exactly the same thing. So basically what I'm trying to do is get this to be, the picture to be 100% height of this container, and then I'm going to make the container slightly higher than this one, and then I'm going to pull it up. But then we want to position the pictures to be bottom left centered. Right, let me show you what I mean. So if I go to theme style and CSS, there was a load of selection that I made here. So all of this is just to get Elementor to do this. So if I go to theme style, into our custom CSS tab, and then we give the parent thing a value of cover image. That picture should be the full height of the column then. Whenever it loads. Okay, cool. And what we want to do is go on this thing and put cover image column. Now you can see that that's just literally, it's only slightly what it's done, but it's made that the whole height of that column there. And that's what we want to do on that one. But what I would like to do now, make that column probably, I don't know, let's try 120% higher than it should be. Maybe 140. I'm going to pull it up using the top margin by, whoops, what happens if you want to do it in -40 pixels. I don't know if this is going to work in -40. So if you can see what's happening here, it's pulling the top of that up, and I want to pull the bottom of this down. But it's now looking a little bit too high. So CSS, make the height 100. Right, so can you see how it's giving it this little overlap on the previous column? That's the look I'm going for. So I want to do the same on this, but the other way around. So if I margin this bottom by pixels, there we go. I don't necessarily want them overlapping, so we can fix that with padding, which makes me think I'll probably need to give it a bit more margin to aim for that. Fix the padding first, see how we look.
So let's check this out on tablet. Still looking good. And I'm gonna go mobile. We want to lose that madness that we've got going on there. So we want to take all padding away. Those two sections together. And margins also. Pictures. And then on mobile, we also want to reverse the display of those, so we've not got two pictures next to each other like this. So that one's displaying nicely. Why is this one looking strange? Reverse the columns on mobile. Somewhere. We should have kitchens picture, bathrooms picture. I think that's going full height because of the Elementor thing. So it won't do that on when it's not rendering that out. And that's that. There we go. Looking good. Okay, so next section. What have we got? We've got the kitchens, bathrooms. Now we want to put a bit of a bout in about Brett himself. We don't have a picture of you, Brett, if you're still watching. So I'm just going to go ahead and give us a bit of padding on this section. Put a heading in of why choose Rennov8te, and then a bit of blurb there about you. Then what? Provide us with some copy about your qualifications. Got city and guilds, your gas safe, and electric safe, I imagine, whatever that's called. So what I'm going to do with this is put one of those fancy link lists in that we like. Icon lists. Where have they gone? It's here somewhere. Icon list. There we go. So I'm going to put an icon list here. And then we're going to go ahead and we're just going to put in city and guilds. What would you call that? Is it qualified? I'll put approved. You can correct me on this. Saying, what was it? City and guilds accreditation. Accredited. And I'll put gas safe registered. I think it's this again. Massive disclaimer. This may not be true. I need you to check it. NIC. Like, what's the electrical safety thing in the UK? It's NIC, isn't it? What's it called? NIC. NIC approved. NIC EIC approved. I'll put that. It may not be correct though. I think it is, but we'll work it out later. Right. NIC. Oh, got on dyslexia.com. NIC EIC. Right. May not be correct though. Again, huge disclaimer from me. We need to get the client to check these out. I'm guessing. Okay, so a lot of space in there. Let's get the icon. We'll use this nice purple that we haven't used anywhere else on the site yet. Nice big ticks. Dent them slightly more. And I think we need to go back and sort on the theme style. Let's see. Default Theme style, okay. So now we're gonna go and sort the typography out because these headers are looking terrible in blue. So let's go in typography. Text color. Probably that one, I think. This one, H1, dark, H2, dark, H3, dark. Ah, slightly lighter on it, actually. That. Make that. And then I think there is also another setting somewhere that I need to change because they're not actually updating. It's probably in default colors. Apologies again, guys, today for the shocking amount of time it's taking me to load some of these pages. Okay. So let's get back to the page. So we've got nice header there, a bit about kitchens, a bit about bathrooms. We need to get these to art direct to the center and right, but we'll do that offline. A link there, a bit about Brett. We need a picture of Brett, because we do not have a picture of Brett. At least of his face, not the back of his head while he's doing some grouting. What else have we got? Testimonial slider. We don't have the testimonials themselves just yet. But that's not stopping us from putting the slider in. In fact, I'm going to put them here because that is a pristine spot for them. So, testimonial slider is here. What we're going to do with that, we're going to style it so that it gives us a bit of flash. So we're going to go background type. We're going to use this pink, I think, like that. And we're going to give that section some different colours because we can't see it. So I'm just going to leave the default stuff in there, Brett, for the time being until we've got the content from you on the testimonial side. I think we'll use that skin. We don't want to go too speech bubbly. And we'll use our usual border radius shortly. So let's go. We want the text colour to be white. The person's name, white and blue. It's a little too much actually. We'll stick with white. And then the person's title. You may get away with that blue there. Okay, cool. So, this section though, we're going to go ahead and just give this a border radius so that it matches the rest of the site, which I think has been 10 pixels. And then we'll save this slider as a global section so that we can use it elsewhere. And we'll need to update it in one place then as well, which is cool. Wonderful. So that's looking good. So we've got now welcome, a bit of information about both services that we're trying to advertise here, reasons to choose Rennov8, some testimonials, and what's next. The footer, but we don't like to leave any page without a nice tasty call to action. So what we're going to do, we're going to build a nice big form here. I'm going to pad this section 60 pixels top and bottom to give it plenty of breathing space because, as you'll see shortly, I'm going to put fancy gradient on the background of this so that it looks like it's a real, full-on feature of the site. So let's go ahead into here. We're going to do it on the form if we can, which we can't. So at least not in the settings. Let's just double check the advanced settings here. Background, yeah, of course. We're going to give it a gradient and we're going to go from his blue to his pink, and we're going to That button looks horrendous, by the way. We may change our plan on this. Let's go that angle. We might lose this, it's probably too much. Let's give it some serious padding. It's a bit much, that, isn't it? It's a very... got a lot of pizzazz, but it's probably a bit too much pizzazz for us. What we do want to do, let's just put our border radius on there so that we're matching. But nah, it's way too much having that gradient. I dreamt that up last night in my sleep. So let's get rid of it. It looks a bit too much. Normal colour. Let's go with... perhaps our purple. Still too much, that, isn't it? Not sure about the blue either. I'm gonna keep it subtle, you see, but it needs to be a bit of a focus, doesn't it? Heading, can't put within the form because can't. So we're gonna have to lose a bit of what we've just done there. We're gonna have to, right, let's edit this. Take out the padding on this. We'll put all these backgrounds in on the actual section because it's clearly not liking it. Okay, so we select the section itself and we pad that instead of the form. We'll be able to put a header inside there, and I think we'll just go and drop in the background add. So we can use it again. Then we're going to put a header in somewhere. Come on, Elementor. That's good. Put a bit of a lead-in text to the form. Come on. Not playing with me today, yeah? There's just way too much JavaScript going on this page for Chrome to cope with. The slider. Put it in. There we go. Right, so basically do we want to name an email? Let's have a look at what fields we've got in this form. So name, email, and I think what we'll put in is service. And I think Brett prefers to phone people, so we'll remove the email and put a tel in, and then we'll put a drop down of put a select. Interesting. Kitchens, bathrooms, general joinery, renovation, other. And then we'll also drop in a tel field. So make that required. Make the name required. And the interested in. I'll put renovation first so that it shows us the selected option. Yep. Looking good. And then we just need to make sure we've got that border radius on there.
wherever he is. This has gone unbelievably slow today. Let's get our 10 pixel border radius. Okay, right, so that is looking like a fairly complete page. So if we just preview that. So welcome to Rennov8te there, nice bit of intro. We'll put the anchors in shortly for the links to these so they drop down to the right section. We will then look at fitted kitchens, and we want to change that to bathrooms. We've then got a bit of a why choose Rennov8te, and then the slider, and then contact form to get started with your project. That is looking pretty complete. I've just noticed the time. We are coming up to 2 hours. Okay, so those of you who are just joining us or who have not been on the stream for long, today we're working on Rennov8te's website, which is for Mr. Brett Ashworth. He is a kitchen and bathroom fitter and also does general joinery and lots of other tasty services. We are building out his pages. We've got the homepage sorted, and we need to just go and drop in kitchens and bathrooms, which we are probably going to do off stream due to the fact that we've reached the 2 hour stream situation. Because, yeah, 2 hours is a long time to sit and watch a web build. So, okay, so far we have reached this. We started with nothing, and we have got nice site that's contained within its own bounds. Fixed header with a nice little call to action to phone young Brett there. We can see the site sticks, the navigation sticks to the top of the site. Nice bit of imagery going on, welcoming you to each service, the kitchens and the bathrooms, with a link through to each service page. Reasons to work with Brett. We're going to have some testimonials here once we've got that content, and then a nice call to action at the bottom to get started. And then, of course, contacts in the footer, nice site map, and then another little callback form there from Brett. And that's that. So that's looking good. I'm going to go offline shortly and build the kitchens and bathrooms pages, and then I'll be sending everything over to Brett to get approved and collect a bit of extra content from Brett. So, just as a bit of a heads up, there's a lot of content missing. We are going to input that from the other content document that we've got. We're going to get as much of that done, and then we'll send it over to Brett for confirmation that everything is as it should be, as they say. And then we'll get this launched to Brett's main domain once it's done. So please, in the comments, let me know what you thought of this build. Any suggestions on the design or whatever, drop them in the comments. Next steps for Brett, I'll be in touch, and you can have a look, and you can provide me with extra content where things are missing. Thank you guys for watching this. If you could like the page, share it with your friends, share the stream, follow us on Facebook and on YouTube and all the other stuff. And not forgetting, all of this is done in aid of AMMF, the charity for cholangiocarcinoma charity for cancer, in name of our friend Simon, who passed away last year. So, again, thank you to anybody who applies for this for donating to that charity.